Touring Europe in 3 countries and having field stages in almost all parts of Indonesia hasn't made him satisfied and proud. He has traveled from huge stages to underground gigs. Dark incidents have molded him into a fierce and hungry musician. He is called Joe Million, one of the wildest rappers in Indonesia. He is a rapper who is very chatty when discussing social issues and politics that are increasingly chaotic. No matter what kind of instrumental he uses, from boom bap, trap, EDM, and even noise music, Joe Million will not hesitate to spit on the microphone in his hand. Whether they are beats or not, whether they are speakers or not, Joe Million will still be eager to sing his ferocious rhymes. The hip-hop scene in Indonesia has experienced ups and downs since its inception. Many have joined and left in a short period, but that hasn't dampened Joe Million's passion for consistently making work for more than 12 years. He realized that rap is half of his life. So, who exactly is this stubborn person? The name Joe was just because he liked one of the best hip-hop duos from Malaysia, Tupac. He took the first name of one of their members, Joe Flizzo. And then the reason he used Million as a compliment is because he hopes to become a millionaire someday. Joe Million is a Bataknese rapper with the real name Jaya Wijaya Narulian Nababan. He was born and raised in Papua until high school. After graduating from high school, he decided to study at the Bandung Institute of Technology. Joe's starting point in the rap world was his college friend, Ranslam. In 2010, Ranslam invited Joe to make a rap song. After a few tries, Joe began to realize that making rap songs wasn't as easy as he imagined. Rap isn't just about writing and singing at a fast tempo. Luckily, Ranslam lent Joe his book entitled The Rapper's Handbook. Joe began to explore the theories contained in the book. He began to study metaphor, wordplay, flow, organized confusion, and hidden meanings in a song. This made Joe even more interested in the world of rap. Over time, Joe began to study some of the world's famous rappers such as Nas, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar. You could say that these 3 rappers were the ones who greatly influenced Joe Million's works. Joe also started listening to the best rap albums from various eras such as the 80s and 90s to the modern era as reference material to facilitate his exploration. He figured out what exactly could make these albums cool in their time. At that point, Joe usually combined some techniques from Nas, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar in his songwriting. Joe Million's songs are known for their fast tempo. Even so, he still makes sure that every lyric can be heard and conveyed clearly. Although he is very passionate, of course, Joe has experienced a saturation phase several times in making his rap songs. To overcome that, he would usually listen to pop songs like Westlife and even Vera Tail. The reason Joe likes these musicians is because their songs are very memorable. He even said, "How come they can make songs that stick in the listener's head for a very long time?" In 2011, Joe decided to start recording simply. At the same time, Joe wanted to present his works to the public. Unfortunately, at that time, the city of Bandung still had low interest in rap. Realizing this condition, Joe and some of his friends planned to make a small event. Joe gathered his friends and people interested in the world of rap and hip-hop at Taman Musik Bandung with a freestyle agenda. The event was only attended by 4 people and only lasted 2 times. Even so, Joe never gave up hope. Long story short, Joe accidentally met Juta on the internet. Juta is a talented budding rapper as well. At that time, Juta told Joe that there was an opportunity to perform at an event in Jakarta. The event was Jakarta Sneakers Day. Despite all the limitations, they finally went there. Jakarta Sneakers Day was Joe's first small stage. After that, Joe became more productive in doing his work. In an interview, he explained that he can produce one song in just 1 until 7 days. Even so, some songs are worked on in 4 until 12 months. This is due to the factor of how difficult it is to find the feel in a song. In 2016, Joe Million released his first album, Vulgar. This album has shaken up the world of rap and hip-hop in Indonesia, which at that time felt monotonous. The album received very positive reviews from various media outlets and several prominent figures in Indonesia. Seeing this potential, Joe considered quitting his office and starting his career as a full-time rapper. Joe felt that his current office job was boring even though the career path and salary were very good. He is a person who likes challenges and something unpredictable. Rather than being a successful and wealthy person in old age without an interesting story, Joe prefers to take risks by taking the rap route for a living. After some time of thinking, Joe finally decided to quit his office. But after less than a month, Joe deeply regretted the decision. Previously, he thought that there would be many stages to fill after the release of the Vulgar album, and he could survive on that income. Turns out he was wrong. Not a single stage could support him. There was no income at all at that time. Even eating was difficult. The meager savings were also soon depleted because they were often made to get drunk. Starving, Joe gave up and chose to return to his hometown. Joe felt it would be impossible to be productive when he was hungry. Arriving home, of course, Joe was often scolded by his parents for the silly decisions he had made. Joe was furious, and he began to consider running away from his parents' house. After some time thinking, Joe chose to run away to his girlfriend's house. Since there was no income, Joe depended on his girlfriend. Luckily, one day, one of Joe's friends offered him a full-time job. Joe, who didn't want to waste this opportunity, immediately took the job. From here, Joe has committed to being able to rap and his job side by side without having to leave one of them. Being so prolific, Joe Million has released more than 7 albums and dozens of singles in just a few years. He also loved collaborative projects. Several well-known producers in Indonesia have colored Joe Million's works. There are very different characters and stories in each of his releases. In this opportunity, I will review the 4 best albums and mini-albums from Joe Million. In 2016, the album Vulgar was named the best rap album in Indonesia by the country's hip-hop senior Mark Vanguard. The album also received many positive reviews from many media outlets. Vulgar not only offers mesmerizing music but also deep social criticism. From start to finish, the album feels like a manifesto that expresses disappointment, hope, and struggle for the social phenomena that occurred at the time. Opening with the track titled Persetan, Joe Millen invites listeners to dive into a world full of bullshit. Through smart and bold lyrics, Joe Millen talks about the shallowness of the meaning of what surrounds us. Many of us swallow information based on assumptions without verification, a phenomenon that at that time was a hit for many people in this country. The words used are not just a series of rhymes, but also loaded with deep meaning of often invite reflection. In its track, the beat is perfectly suited to the message being conveyed. The music production in this album shows great expertise, with ethnic samples from Indonesia and the Middle East that are very unique but still maintain a strong hip-hop essence. The dynamic and diverse musical arrangements keep listeners from getting bored, even making them more interested in listening to its lyric more carefully. One of the most compelling songs is Si Miskin Indonesia. Here, Joe Millen describes how ridiculous the political and governmental atmosphere in Indonesia was at the time. With harsh lyrics wrapped in satire, he can distinctively deliver a piercing message. Joe Millen's emotion-filled voice adds depth to the song, allowing the listener to feel every word spoken. The strength of the album, Vulgar, lies in its ability to tell an honest and true story. Joe Millen doesn't hesitate to open up and show his savage side. With Vulgar, Joe Millen and Senar Togok not only show their talent in music, but also the power of their voice as an agent of social change. This album is a work that deserves to be appreciated not only for the beauty of the music but also for the deep message it carries. There are 13 songs in this album, including Persetan, Koar Trotoar, Singgasana, Sejenak, Si Miskin Indonesia, Amin, Vulgar, Kata Morgana, Candu, Kolong, Let My Blood Be a Seed of Freedom, Terbawa, Peluru, Menunda Mati. In this album, Joe Millen intends to make the most technical hip-hop album in Indonesia. The album Bombardier by Joe Millen feat Danger Dope is one of the most prominent works in the Indonesian hip-hop music scene. The production of the album Bombardier shows great attention to detail and quality. Danger Dope, who was in charge of the production, managed to create boom bap beat that is very much in the 80s. We are transported to a retro classic era where there was no internet. The beat also provides a solid foundation for Joe Millen's lyrics. The use of old radio samples, classic trumpets, and French horns create a fresh and different feel to each song, while professional mixing and mastering ensure that every element sounds clear and balanced. Joe Millen is known for his sharp lyrical style that is full of hidden meanings. In Bombardier, he covers topics from everyday life to Joe's struggles during his career as a rapper. His lyrics are often multi-layered and full of pop culture and local reference, so listeners need to pay close attention to catch the whole message. Joe Million's intelligence and sensitivity in stringing words together make each song feel like a powerful narrative. One of the most striking songs is Bombardier. Here, Joe Million is like a disaster for every person who dares to mess with him. With its fierce lyrics and mind-blowing flow, this song feels like a time bomb that will explode in less than 3 minutes. This song is a criticism of people who are often half-hearted in doing things and inconsistent in determining the path to be taken. The collaboration between Joe Million and Danger Dope is very harmonious. The two have a strong chemistry, which is reflected in how the lyrics and music complement each other. Danger Dope not only serves as a producer but also a creative partner who helps elevate Joe Million's vision to the next level. Overall, Bombardier is a solid and consistent album, showing Joe Million's development and maturity as an artist. The album manages to combine various elements of classic hip-hop with a slightly modern twist, making it relevant and fresh amid intense musical competition. With strong lyrics, quality production, and specific themes, Bombardier is one album that deserves more attention in Indonesia's hip-hop discography. There are 10 songs in this album, including Intro, Bintang Gerbang, Tempa Bara, Nafas Muda, Bombardier, Warta Merta, Katana, Kartini 21, Bhinneka Tunggal Hip Hop, Outro. Joe Million and Martial released the album Vandal during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Broadly speaking, Joe recounts his depravity and very personal experiences on this album. Joe likens himself to a blank wall on the side wall, and the songs on this album are the typical scribbles of a vandal on the wall. The flow and beats are fresh and have never been applied to previous albums. Joe tried to experiment on this album. He hopes there will be a feeling of surprise from listeners after hearing the songs on this album. Vandal is a collaborative album between Joe Million and Martial that combines elements of hip-hop with Martial's signature electronic modern production. Martial, as the main producer, gives a unique touch by combining various electronic elements such as trap, dubstep, and strong classic hip-hop beats. Every track on the album feels fresh and innovative, showcasing Martial's ability to create dynamic and atmospheric soundscapes. There are many layers to the production, from textured scenes to deep and punchy bass lines. In Vandal, he tries to tell the story of how his life often fell apart due to his strange actions. Unlike his previous albums, Joe Million doesn't hesitate to talk about the absurd reality he experienced with language that isn't too difficult to digest. Even some songs tend to be pitched and have hooks. Of course, we never found this in his previous albums, which tended to speed up. The collaboration between Joe Million and Martial feels very natural and cohesive. Joe Million brings energy and power through his vocals, while Martial provides a rich and deep sonic canvas. This combination creates an album that is full of tension and emotion, yet still very enjoyable to listen to. One song that made an impression was Kebanyakan Sinte. In this song, Joe Million brings a message of self-limitation from the negativity of drugs. Joe doesn't want more victims to be trapped in this lawlessness. Joe tells the story with comedic yet serious lyrics. Joe Million's unique hook and trap beat make this song stick in the listener's head. Vandal is an ambitious album that successfully combines various musical elements to create something unique and powerful. Mardial's innovative production, combined with Joe Million's sharp and meaningful lyrics, make this album worth listening to over and over again. It is a work that isn't only entertaining but also a message for us to stay responsible for whatever mistakes we have made. There are 13 songs in this album, including Cepu, Kebanyakan Sinte, Tempel di Gusi, Fight Club, Jembatan Api, SLXT, Anjinglah Hidup Ini Pantat Lubang Dengan Cinta, Kupas Kuningan Ini, Smileys, Siasat, Sepeda, 8-13-23-24, Sakarotul. Taklimat Eschatology is a follow-up project to their previous two noise rap albums. Previously, they had also toured in Europe. They performed in 8 cities in 3 countries for 2 weeks. The third album of this collaboration also includes Mahamboro, who helped them with the recording process as well as mixing and mastering. In a press release, Indramanus said, "This is the first time I've used samples taken from everyday sounds like the grinding of ceramic cutters, as well as collapsing walls and gunshots. I also used tape loops, analog drum machines, and cassette players in addition to analog synthesizers." As for the lyrics, Joe Million tries to present theses about the end times. One of the tracks titled Das Kapital has been released on YouTube in music video format. Das Kapital is a collaboration between Joe Million and Indramanus that blends elements of rap and noise, creating an intense and unique listening experience. Joe Million is known for his loud rap style and sharp lyrics, while Indramanus brings a noisy feel that hits the listener hard. The song combines an aggressive beat with lyrics full of social criticism. The music production in Das Kapital is highly experimental, with unconventional use of distortion and sound effects, creating a dark and energetic atmosphere. This song isn't for listeners looking for mainstream music, but for those who love experimental genres and deep lyrics. Das Kapital offers an enthralling and provocative experience. Overall, Das Kapital is a bold and innovative piece of work, showing the courage of Joe Million and Indramanus in exploring the boundaries of rap and noise music. The song challenges listeners to contemplate social and political issues through an intense and sometimes uncomfortable yet highly memorable medium. There are 4 tracks in this EP, including Das Kapital, Tiada Rahmat, Injil Para Anarko, Jalan Pulang. Joe Million showed up in his trademark black t-shirt, jeans, and red bandana. His look was casual yet stylish, reflecting his street rap character. The venue was not too big, but it was enough to accommodate more than 50 people. The stage is equipped with projection mapping that display interesting visuals according to the theme of the event, plus creative lighting, including the use of strobe lights and lasers to enhance the visual experience of the concert. Joe opened his set with the track It's Alive, a song that has a solid rhyme and a tempo like a fast train that is about to take off. For starters, this song was more than enough to fire up the audience that night, followed by the second track, Syndicate Indie, a song that tells the twists and turns of Joe's tough journey during his career in hip-hop. At the same time, Joe Million regularly interacted with the audience, inviting them to sing along, share stories, and promote his new album. Several times, Joe has allowed audience members to come on stage. This has created a very personal closeness. Song after song has been played by Joe Million very energetically. One of the most mesmerizing performances was when he played the song Sakarotul. The combination of rap and EDM had the audience constantly nodding their heads. This is because of the matching between Mardial's beautiful drop and Joe Million's mind-blowing flow. Joe closed his performance with the track Bombardier. Unmitigated, Joe even used 2 microphones to perform his rap attraction in this last performance. The crowd cheered and some joined in with the lyrics. Danger Dope's boom bap thoughts with Joe Million's ferocious rhymes had blown up the stage that night. Joe thanked the crew, audience, and other performers. Joe invited high fives and even hugged some people there as a form of gratitude for the success of the event. The maturation process has made Joe Million change the themes in his work slightly. From being very unspoken about sensitive issues in public, it has turned into daily stories that tend to be very personal. The presence of his wife and child will certainly change Joe Million's perspective on the world. However, Joe is still Joe, the stubborn one who will continue to bombard the ears of his listeners with his masterpieces. In my opinion, Joe Million is more than worthy of exploring the international stage.